Hey everyone, welcome back to another custom Thomas Wooden Railway model video, and today we're going to be taking a look at some pieces of rolling stock. These are the Green Express coaches that were made by Turtles and Thomas, and there's a very funny but short story to go along with these. I had some regular Thomas Wooden Railway Express coaches and I said, hey Turtles and Thomas, you want to paint me some green ones? And he said, sure, and about a month later I got these back in the mail, and that's pretty much it. So I'll talk about it more in just a little bit, but your normal Thomas Wooden Railway Express coaches are painted red. However, throughout the Thomas and Friends TV series, we have seen Green Express coaches for a really long time, and I kind of just wanted to mix it up a little bit, and I had some extras laying around, so that's where kind of this whole thing came from. So anyway, let's get started with this video. I have the red Express coaches, the normal ones, in the background, but I'm going to bring one up here for the start of this video so that we can take a look at what a normal, non-custom Thomas Wooden Railway Express coach is supposed to look like. So this is what they look like. They were sold for a number of years, from about the mid to, I'd say, the late 90s to the early 2000s and beyond. They were actually sold for a really long time. And as of the making of this video, express coaches are decently hard to find. Sometimes you get lucky, you'll find them in pairs or more on eBay, but it's still a little bit of a challenge. So your normal express coach here has a gray top, gray windows, this sort of cream colored next to the windows, and then the main color of the coach is on the bottom side here, and as you can tell, this is a red express coach. According to my research, which was very brief right before this video started, it appears as though red express coaches had their origins in the Railway series, but green express coaches only started to appear in the TV series. And that kind of makes sense because, you know, we do see green and red express coaches in the TV series in both the model forms and the CGI parts. But you definitely see, with Gordon especially, you definitely see the Green Express coaches more often, and it's just kind of interesting that, you know, by the time the Thomas Wooden Railway line was formed, we had both styles of coaches, and I don't know if there was ever going to be a plan to introduce the green ones over here, or if we just started with red and we were going to come around to the other color, or who knows, there probably wasn't going to be a plan all along. But anyway, we ended up with red express coaches, and other forms of merchandise have gotten green coaches, but when it comes to the Thomas Wooden Railway line, with the exception of Thomas Wood, we only got red coaches. Yeah, both sides are symmetrical. I don't really know what this design is here. Maybe these are vents. Maybe somebody can tell me what these are supposed to be. Maybe it's just a little bit of added detailing so that we don't have these blank ends here. But an important thing to note is that these coaches are longer, so they have bogies on the bottom. And like we see here, this isn't labeled green express coach, or excuse me, a red express coach, or a specific type of express coach. It's just the express coaches, which makes me think they were only ever going to release the red ones. Although these were around for quite a number of years, I don't think they sold spectacularly well. I remember I wanted these when I was a kid because I wanted to have something for Gordon to pull, but then I also grew up with the Knapford Express coach, and so anytime I had him pull an important train, I just had him pull that coach. So the Knapford Express coach kind of replaced the Express coach in my childhood. But then when I started my YouTube channel around 2008, I was like, oh man, if I'm going to do episodes with Gordon and the Express, I need the actual Express coaches. So I did go out and buy them, and the way these were sold, it was really interesting. You know, you didn't just buy one coach at a time, you got two at a time, which made for some really weird, interesting packaging. You had like a coach at the front, and up here would be the box, and it'd say Express coach, and then if you were to flip the box around, you would have a coach sealed to the back as well. So you bought these two at a time, and I want to say they weren't priced any different, even though you received two coaches. I want to say they were priced, you know, maybe $22.99, $24.99 as the years went on. Basically the same price as like as a Gordon model or a Henry model, something like that. So they weren't crazy priced, even though you got two coaches, which was kind of interesting. So this is the red Express coach, and like I mentioned earlier, even though we got the red version in Wooden Railway form, you definitely see the green versions a lot more in the TV series. So I finally had a surplus of these, and I said to Turtles and Thomas, hey buddy, do me a favor and paint up some Green Express coaches for me, and that's exactly what we did. So we have the exact same coaches that you see in the background up front. The only difference is that I have come along, or rather Turtles and Thomas has come along, and where that red paint used to be, He's just painted it green, and that's really all there is to it. A lot of these, I'm guessing, they all have the names on the bottom, so they're from around 2001 or later. So I don't even bother looking at the wheels to get the like exact dates, because beyond 2003, nothing really matters. They're all painted pretty much the same, but I'm just, for the sake of having something to talk about, I'm just going to go through and show these off. Yeah, I think, I want to say I either bought these off of eBay and had them shipped directly to Turtles, or I had them, I want to say I actually had them here, and I sent them to Turtles in the summer of 2018. And then about a month later, they showed up at my doorstep and they were painted like this. So, but I definitely sent him the more beat up ones, because I wanted to keep my more pristine looking ones in better condition. And then the kind of the more beat up ones, you can kind of see it here with this coach, some edge wear. I was like, yeah, we'll have those painted up, because I didn't even know at this time if I was even going to use these in my series. It was more of like a custom idea. One thing I have noticed, as we're on to our third different coach now, I don't think Turtles and Thomas meant to do this, but you can see here he had painted up all the way to the top line on these previous two coaches, and then on this one, he's left a little bit of the yellow line in there. It just makes it a little bit different. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't think he even meant to do that. I think he just came along and he was just on a painting craze and just did whatever he thought was the right thing to do, and I don't care. I mean, I think it's actually kind of funny, but yeah, so I guess I don't really have in the real life. You can't really say real life Thomas and Friends because it's a show, but in the CGI series, I know there are some express coaches that they feature that are a little bit different because they're painted a little bit different. They're supposed to act like a brake coach. The jingling of the bells you hear is my cat, but we're well beyond that at this point. So yeah, these coaches turned out really nice, but they're all pretty much identical and symmetrical. There's nothing crazy going on there. I really like how they turned out. And I gotta thank Turtles and Thomas again for going to such the excruciating detail of pulling out his green paint and his paintbrush and coming along and very diligently painting along these lines here. This is definitely a custom I could have done myself, but I just don't think I had any green paint laying around. And Turtles and Thomas was doing several other custom Thomas Wooden Railway models for me at the time. So I was just like, hey, mind if I throw these into the batch? And he was like, sure, and that's how we got there. So as far as the Green Express coaches go, compared to the red ones, I think I do like the green ones a little bit more. And I should bring up the fact that in Wooden Railway form, we actually do have Green Express coaches. There was a Thomas Wood version that was unpainted, but it's the same size as Annie and Clarabelle, and it has kind of the open space in the middle here where you're supposed to put a Wooden Railway figure. That came with the Knapford Station destination. And, you know, people were kind of excited, like, oh, we get a Green Express coach in Wooden Railway form. But it's like, yeah, but it looks like that. I mean, it's, you know, the big thing with the Express coaches is that they're big and they're long and they're not supposed to look like tiny little Annie right here. You know, Annie and Clarabelle are not the same size as the Express coaches, at least from what I've seen in both the Railway series and the TV series. So I'm really happy with how these turned out. Maybe some other fun facts, I think just from my research, I don't really know where the series has gone in the past couple of years. I guess there are a lot more engines pulling the Express. Like, it's not just Gordon or James anymore. I don't really know what Henry's doing, but I guess like the new engine Rebecca's pulling the Express and all this stuff. You know, in the Railway series, there was the Wild Nor'Westerner. Wild Nor'Westerner. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but that was pulled by Pip and Emma, which I think was a version of the Express. So yeah, there's been a couple of different Express engines. But then when I had these Green Express coaches and I was working on season 15 of my series, I was like, you know what? They kind of match the Flying Scotsman, but they kind of don't. But then I had a custom Bear engine that was made by Hero the Japanese Train, and the colors were like identical, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if Bear got like a special train and the coaches were painted to match him? And obviously the episode didn't go exactly like that, but that was kind of the foundation because I was just looking at him, and in the Railway series, Bear does pull the Express from time to time, so I was like, you know what, this is perfect. So just a little bit minor history before I end the video. I think in the Railway series, they definitely use the red Express coaches more than the green ones. I don't think even Green Express coaches really appeared in the Railway series. However, when it came to the TV series in the model era, it was flipped. We saw way more green express coaches, and yes, there were red express coaches, but they were kind of like a secondary train where it was like, yeah, the express is the green coaches, and the red coaches are kind of like express-like type trains. That are still kind of important, but like the express still gets the priority, so he gets the green ones. So that's really all of the information I have to share with you guys. This was a pretty simple custom process. I know a lot of other people out there over the years in the Thomas Wooden Railway community have done this very simple custom change. I mean, in my opinion, as long as you got some tape and some green paint, you can just come along, and a lot of people, it's becoming way more popular to use decals. So you know what, you just print out like a green stripe and put it over the red, and there you have a green express coach that can later be reversed to a red express coach if you change your mind, you didn't like the look or whatever. So anyway, guys, I think that's gonna do it for this video. Once again, I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Turtles and Thomas for, like I said, doing that excruciating work of bringing out his paintbrush and painting these up for me. But in all seriousness, I really want to thank Turtles and Thomas. He did an excellent job. And I'm pretty picky about the stuff that I use in my series, so they were good enough to be featured in an episode pretty prominently. So I plan on using these in the future. I'm always going to be a little bit, I'm going to favor these ones a little bit more, I think, just because they're actual licensed products. But Turtles and Thomas still did a really good job on our bootleg green express coaches as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are liking this round of videos. I got some more custom engines coming up. I really appreciate your support, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below.